Good evening and welcome. This is Bob Pace. I'm your host on a live podcast heard around the world. You found me on Facebook, How to Fight CPS. And I'm here because I too was involved in fighting CPS. And I want very much to help you all because I too, was involved and still been fighting for 15 years. And they a really corrupt agency. Really, 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 really bad. Um, the last couple of days, it's been kind of hard with some of the Facebook accounts. We have one account that didn't recognize it. I'm not sure if they have to redo the passwords or what, but hopefully you found the notification on Facebook, a broadcast on YouTube, and I use the StreamYard application. And this is an interactive podcast, meaning I have people that can ask questions or be a guest on my podcast or call in. There are 4 ways you can interact with this podcast. One way is right now just being in the room and hearing me talk and taking notes and listening to other people have to say and what I have to say and so forth. A second way to interact with this podcast is to make comments. Here, let me get the comments here. Hold on a second. Now, your comments can be a comment or a question, and it's about the child protection system. I call the CPS child protection system. It's any branch of social services at every county in the states that deals with the protection of our children from neglect and abuse. Further, they're supposed to help out families in need, areas of food, clothing, medical, educational, housing, a job, etc. And then also, if they have to take apart your family, they're supposed to reunify them because it's been said that the best parents are the biological parents. The best parents are the biological parents. And they're the ones that will take care of your the children the best, or the biological parents. Now, all I ask you when you're doing your comments is to show your name. Now, some of you may have names, and some of them are kind of far out, like crazy alligators or jumping spiders or over the rainbow. What I like is your first name, and it can be something simple as Bob, Carol, Ted, Sue, Alice, whatever. Then I like to know the city or county and the state you're from. Also, we have about 13 countries that have texted in, and I welcome all the countries around the world because it's heard worldwide. So I also like to know the city and country that you're texting from. And so far, we've had about 13 of them. We've had Bangladesh, India, Africa, Europe, North America, Canada, United States, and Mexico, South America, Guyana, and across the Pacific, we've had Australia. And they've all expressed a problem with CPS, and I've tried to help everyone. So it's very important that you tell me so I can get an idea of where there's problems with CPS. Also, it's important when you text in a comment or question that you are that you're complete with your case. Meaning, like, what is your family situation? Are you husband, wife, mother, father, girlfriend, boyfriend, lovers, partnership? Are both parents involved? Are all the kids the same parents? What are the ages of the children? What are the sexes of the children? What were the allegations? How were they taken from your home? And then, where you at on your case? Where you at on your case? So that's being complete. So that's the second way. A third way is that if you want to schedule to be a guest on my podcast, I love to have you be a guest on my podcast. There's openings for 9 people. 9 people be my podcast, and I love for you to be on it. That way you can talk. Now, to get on it, all you're going to do is contact my show producer. Her name is Grace. She works behind the scenes and helps me out a lot, and I want to thank her for her help. But all you need to do is write her an email and tell one of the 14 shows you want to be on. I can take up to 9 guests at a time. That's total of 10 people. And my show times are Monday through Sunday from 10 o'clock a.m. in the morning Pacific Standard Time for 1 hour and 7 o'clock at night Pacific Standard Time for 1 hour. Now, there's some exceptions. Like tonight, I had something came up and I had to do my podcast later at 8 o'clock. And it was a last minute thing, but I'm still here because some of you expressed earlier today that you wanted to see and talk to me. I want to be here twice a day for you, 7 days a week to help you. Now, the other day, Sundays, I'm always on at 8 o'clock instead of 10 o'clock because I have a family outing in church and so forth. Now, on this Friday, the 6th of September, which is 2 days from now, I will be on at 3 o'clock in the afternoon instead of my normal time at 7. I have a football game. It's Friday Night Lights. I'm going with my family, my son, and so forth to watch a very important football game. And that's Friday night. So I will tell you ahead of time if my times change from time to time. But those are my show times. All you do is send Grace an email that I want to be on Bob's Monday morning show or Bob's Tuesday evening show or Bob's Sunday morning show, so forth. And she'll put you on. Her email is grace@vincentwdavis.com. Grace@vincentwdavis.com. And she will help you with the link. I broadcast on YouTube and I use the StreamYard application. So she'll help you get on and she'll explain to you what you can do as a guest. There's no eating or smoking, even like sucking on crushed ice or anything like that. They don't want any sounds that come up there and so forth. We want to be very professional presentation. And there is no first names of any of the children or the judges or the social workers. So we don't use first names there. So I'd love to see you as a guest and just email grace@vincentwdavis.com. That's grace@vincentdavis.com. So that's the third way. The fourth way is you can call in to my office number. It's 626-698-0990. They'll ring my phone and I'll put you on speakerphone and you'll be live. And that is available during my show time. If you call before my show time or after my show time, just leave a message and I'll send you what times I'm on. But I cannot talk outside of my show time. I'm only allowed to talk on my show time. So right now it's open. So you can call in and talk to me, and that would be great. That would be great. I'd love to hear from you. Now, those are the ways you interact with me in the podcast. 1 is just by being present. 2, by texting comments. 3, by being a guest on my podcast. And 4, the phone in. Now, there should be some people, but maybe they're confused on the abrupt change in time tonight. I don't know. Let me see if I can find out if they can still come here. One person that's been on my show all the time is Faye. Now, she is a single mother from Kentucky, Richmond, Kentucky. She has a son she's trying to get custody of. He is a special needs child, about 23, and she's been fighting to get custody of him. She had a daughter, but she had to give up her daughter age 4, through no fault of her own. She was forced to giving her up, which is wrong. It was really a bad scene for her because she was once in foster care herself, and she entered it 5 different times. And then when she grew up and fell in love and had 2 children, they took her children because they have a record of her. You have to understand, foster care is mean and bad. It's mean and bad. So, okay, hold on one second. I'm sorry. Again, sorry for the interruptions. But uh, okay. It seems awful quiet again. It's one of the Facebooks is not working. Um, the YouTube one is working, but the Facebook, the secret how to fight CPS and win, is not. That link's not working. Hey, Natalie, you found us. Good. Oh, you got it on the link on Facebook. Good. Okay. We have one link on Facebook that's not working, but the other ones, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 links are, and the YouTube link. Great to have you there. Okay, what happened, Natalie? I had something beyond my control, so I had to postpone my podcast to 8 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that's why I'm on later. And it was really, really bad, but I got it going here. Sort of had a rough day, but I'm glad you joined us. This is Natalie from West Hollywood, California. Can you tell me about your case again, Natalie? It's been a while since we talked about it. Can you talk about your case? Yeah, Faye, can you be on my podcast?
No, I'm busy.
Okay.
I can't do it right now, Bob.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Natalie, do you want to call in and talk on your about your case a little bit? You just call that number 626-698-0990. Just call that number. Good evening,
Hello?
Natalie. Hello. Do you
evening.
Do you hear me okay?
Good evening, Bob.
Yeah, I think it's great. Faye's got something came up tonight. It's only because I didn't come on earlier at 7, and I'm sorry you had to spend an hour looking for me.
I was looking for you, and then I was like, oh my God, and then nobody came harass me today, which is unusual.
Yeah, the homeless guys aren't camping out in your driveway?
No, and then yesterday was bizarre. So I was in the bedroom here, and then, cleaning the carpet because my dog, she did something, and then so somebody was knocking on the door.
You told me at 4 o'clock in the morning.
No, it was 4 p.m.
Oh, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, you didn't answer the door, did you?
No, I didn't answer. It was like after 4 p.m. I had the television on anyway because I put it on that movie channel because I like it. And then so they kept knocking, and then I was like, I'm not gonna open it. And then I was like, I think it was after 4, I believe. And then when I opened the door, this is so bizarre because the mail, they keep changing the mail carrier. So this mail carrier, he put the mail to the left of the door rather to the right of the door where the mailbox is. And then somebody dropped, whoever was knocking on this door, on the gate of the door, they left behind a Jack in a Box taco.
A jacket that did what?
They left a Jack in a Box taco.
Oh, a Jack in a Box taco. Okay. Well,
I did not order it.
I know, but you should never answer doors anyway. That you never know.
True.
You never know what's going to be there, and too many people have been killed innocently by answering doors.
No, I know, and it didn't look like it was like an ordered taco. Like it was like really weird. Like this person was so angry they left their taco. Really weird.
Well, I just want to go over your case because we haven't talked about you, and I keep introducing you. And you said the LA sheriff take your children? How they take your children?
Well, basically, I've already found out who has called the sheriff and everything and done all this. It's the guy next door.
So the guy next door called the sheriff and accused you of doing what to your children?
Well, he accused me of basically, like, I guess, like, leaving them alone.
Oh,
And letting
neglect.
the pets out.
Neglect. Okay.
Right. So.
And when the sheriff came, did you answer the door when the sheriff came?
Yes.
And what did the sheriff tell you?
Well, we have to look for a welfare check. Something's wrong. Somebody said that the dog is out.
Well, why would they look for a welfare check for a dog out?
It's very weird. I said, no, the dog is inside. And I say, the dog is here. And then they got, and then the kids, they were in the living room, and I had my neighbor with me, and he was watching them because I took a shower. And so I let him in. I said, the dog is fine. And then I showed him this letter, which the next door neighbor also sent, but he sent it anonymously. This is so bizarre because it was typed. He says, it boils down to, like, because you and your children and your brother are living in the house with the pets, they should all be removed, and you will be losing them.
Now, who said that?
The next door neighbor. Because he sent a letter anonymously, but I know it's him because nobody sits around here is that educated to sit and type a letter and mail it.
Well, okay, so when did the sheriff tell about this? They wouldn't take your kids right away unless they're in danger. Were they in danger?
No, but because the thing is, the stupid sheriff, she was an idiot. She just wanted to take them anyway.
Well, she has to have a ground to take them. Of course, she didn't know at that time.
So they handcuffed me, saying I wasn't. I'm going to take you to the hospital. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? And then they put me in the hospital, and they took my kids. And my brother tried to get the kids, and they wouldn't give it to me either.
Well, did you meet with the social workers? I mean, why were you taken to the hospital? Were you hurt?
Because the stupid police, she said that I was not able to take care of my kids. I'm mentally not together.
Okay, but that's got to be done by CPS, not by the police.
No, the police can take you for a mental check at the hospital.
Can they? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they call it a 5150.
And they can say that you're mentally deranged and we need to take you to the hospital, right?
Right.
I had no, and that's the LA sheriffs, the LA County sheriffs?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. So then, basically what happened prior before, so I was in, okay, so I didn't want to, so I went to the other house because I got scared because it's too weird here. So I was like, okay, I already, and my brother, like, he went looking for me, and then he got upset. So he brought me down here anyway. I said, don't do it. And the guy next door is crazy still. And then, and anyway, the kids, they needed their stuff, and I needed my stuff. So he brought it down and everything, and then they stole our belongings, the police, when I came back. And the dogs and the kids. So I had two little girls, and my daughter's birthday is September 7th, my second daughter.
Okay, well, you went to the hospital, and you were checked out, right?
Yeah, I was checked out by the psychiatrist. She said that basically you're not crazy.
Okay, so then, so where were the kids that night? Where did the kids spend their first night?
I have no idea. They never told me.
To this day, you don't know?
I don't know.
What did the kids say they were at?
They were so little. They were 2 and 3.
Oh. Okay, so your
at that
2 and
time.
3-year
I have
kids.
no idea where they went.
All right. So the
And
next.
I started to cry in the hospital because I don't know where my kids are. The lady, the social worker for the mental health in the hospital, she was Korean. She was very nice. And she said, okay, I think maybe they're with your brother. I said, okay, but I don't know.
Well, you said there's a social worker at the hospital?
Right, but that's for the patients, not DCFS.
Oh, really? Now, what is
Right.
what
so
is
they
the
have a mental
what is
health social worker
DCFS?
because it's a
Yeah.
psychiatric ward.
What is DCFS? What's that?
The Department of Children and Family Services.
Well, what is the CPS in California? It's called Child Protection Service. What's the difference between those two?
It was Child Protective Service, yes, but we're you and me, because we're in Orange County in LA, it's still DCFS.
Well, in Orange County, it's called CPS.
I don't know. It was DCFS too.
Well,
yeah.
I don't have the DCFS.
At one point. Well, it's DCFS. Once it even had DCFS
What
on her
is
head, so she knows.
the okay.
Because my lawyer might.
All right. Okay, here's what it is. In California, they use two names. They use two names. Actually, they use four names. They use four names. You want to get technical.
Right.
In California, they have the Child Protection Services. It's also known as the Department of Children and Family Services. Also, Children and Family Services, CFS, or the Child Welfare Service, CWS.
CFS is up north.
Children and Family Services,
also.
And then they have Child Welfare Service, CWS.
Well, CWS, yes, that must be like.
That's Child Welfare Service. That's Child Welfare. And now what they say, the Department of California, who has the Department of Social Services that investigates child abuse and neglect, is CPS, not DCF, not CWS, and not CFS. So.
Well, there's so many names.
I know. That's why.
I know.
That's why I use the CPS, meaning the Child Protection System.
Right.
Child Protection Systems are all in the same boat.
So basically, it was like I was held in there for 2 days.
So you didn't see your. Okay.
I was in the hospital, a mental hospital, for 2 days, County USC, Los Angeles.
Okay.
And then, so I didn't know where my kids were at all.
I'm telling my producer there's one Facebook link that's still broken.
Oh, no. What's broken? There's nothing. Then finally, my brother, what is it? My dad's friend, and the attorney they have at the time, he said, yeah, they're what is it? DCFS has them. I don't even know how they found out because my brother went to go get them from the police.
So what happened that first week?
It was crazy because all I knew, they released me, and before that, my brother and my brother and the attorney, the friend of ours was an attorney. He said yes, my brother, he went to get the kids from the police.
Wow.
He went to get the kids, and they wouldn't give it to my brother. And then they said then I met up with the what is it? So they told me in the hospital, Robert, my dad's friend, was an attorney.
Oh, okay.
And I was upset. So then in the first week, so what happened was like I needed to go back in the house to get my other house, the stuff. They had ransacked my other house too, because they took the keys off of my neck.
Really?
Yeah. The police did all this stuff. The drawers are open in the kitchen, which was unusual. My mom never left the drawers open in the kitchen.
Oh,
Ever.
okay.
If you were to touch my mom's stuff in the kitchen, you know, it'd be very bad. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
You know, that's the way she was.
So,
Everything,
so that whole week,
you know,
did they ever have a meeting with you about where your kids could stay at a family?
No, they never did. And then I had to go to a court hearing.
Now,
and this was the funny part. They didn't even schedule a visit.
Yeah, no visit with your two girls.
Yeah, at that point for like 2 weeks.
Wow.
Or 3 weeks.
Well,
What?
yeah, I'm sorry. I had some family. See, I'm broadcasting from home, so anyway.
No, I understand.
It's not a perfect world I live in, and I don't think anybody has a perfect world. And
oh yeah, we should come live here.
Yeah, I know you have your share of people after you, so I understand that.
Well, I told this woman on Monday. This was crazy. So I had the homeless guy bothering me.
Yeah.
And she's my friend. She's like, "Well, why don't you take a shower? You want me murdered?"
Wow.
You really? I have a homeless guy camping out here. You want me to? What if he comes back randomly again and I'm showering?
Well,
you ever think of that?
If you have a homeless person right now, they have the new law now that anybody that's homeless, they can be arrested.
That's funny. Yeah, they could be arrested, but if they keep camping out, they can claim they have a right to camp.
Doesn't make a difference. Funny. That doesn't work anymore. The Supreme Court passed a law that anybody that's homeless can be arrested or booted out of the city.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they can no longer have the beach camps, at Will Rogers State Beach or Santa Monica, or the rivers. They can't do that anymore.
Well, I guess if they camp in front of your house,
yeah.
Like
Anyway, I got some new listeners that have come in. Welcome, y'all that just came in. I have a guest on the podcast. Her name is Natalie, and she's from West Hollywood. She lost her two young girls through no fault of her own because a neighbor had typed allegations that weren't true. And the LA sheriff somehow arrested her and sent her to a mental hospital thinking she was crazy. CPS and the police are corrupt, and you really got to be careful with those people. Anyway, that happened in 2013. So what happened?
I showed the police the letter, and then she wasn't mentally together herself. So we're going to find out who did this. I said, I got this threatening letter.
Oh, you got a copy of the letter in the mail. Wow.
I got a threatening letter in the mail. I still have it. It's in my grandparents' buffet.
Mm-hmm.
I had it, and I received it on July 29th, 2013. I still remember that because July 29th is my parents' wedding anniversary.
Okay. All right. Okay.
And then it said basically this person said, ever since you moved in with your brother, well, who else would know that we lived together, right? There's a guy next door, he's a professor, and he's crazy.
Okay.
So then, it's been loud and bad, and you let the pets run around. Oh, that's not true. I didn't. I would open the door, they would get out. Okay, that happens. The pets. Then your kids are loud. All these things, and then it's like, well, now we were fed up, and it's your neighbors, blah, blah, blah. we're going to call the authorities, like the animal control, police, etc.
All right.
You can lose your kids and pets.
Well, how did your case go from, saying you're mentally and then you're found you're not mentally problem? Why did they not return your kids?
Well, that's the thing. They actually could. DCFS was they kept going saying I was not mental, but there was so much evidence from all these psychiatrists, psychologists saying I'm not mental. But because I got a small diagnosis saying that I had a problem with what is it? They call it like you have a small you have like problem with like organization.
Okay.
And then adjustment with a new situation, which is anxiety. But because I lost my parents, they passed away.
Yeah.
Within 9 months of each other.
That's pretty hard to lose your mom and dad. I know it is.
Yeah, it is. It's horrible. And then I don't have parents, and then I have to deal with my brother. And then I'm,
Does your brother still live with you?
I have 2 little girls, and I'm in a different environment what I'm not used to.
Mm-hmm.
Basically what I came from like a secured home. Like it was like it had like a gate, it had its own balcony, you had its own forest, and everything that was set up was real for me. And then I come down here, and there was like basically it was smaller, of course, my grandparents' house, but it was scary because literally the house is like on the street, and the other house is not like that. I could open the door, and there's the garden in the garage. Okay, and then there's the driveway. This is not like that. You actually have to deal with the public.
Well, in California, the CPS process is supposed to work this way, and tell me if it did for you. The first phase is the reporting process, and that's when someone suspects the well-being of a child is at threat in a domestic affair. They'll notify CPS, and this could be an educator who is a professional is required by law, or it could be a relative who's not required by law, but a relative sometimes do it as retaliation, or they gain something. It could be a neighbor that's upset with you, and so forth. It could also be a caregiver, anyone who observes a child abuse or child neglect. For instance, there was 4 children at home today, and sadly, the mother went to the store and left her 9 and 7 and 5 and a 4-year-old. They got a hold of a gun and they shot the 4-year-old dead.
Oh my God.
So that just happened today. Every day I hear all these tragic stories about neglect and abuse. It does go on, but the sad part is then you got the layperson who I call like a relative, a family friend, something like that. They use it to cause the rift, alienation between the parents and the child, or they do retaliation because they're upset with your dog or your yard or something there. So what happens is that the report comes in, and right away you're labeled guilty. You see, in any other court of law, you're innocent until you're proven guilty. But in CPS, you are guilty until you're proven innocent. So when that person says that you're not feeding your child or starving your child, they're going to think you're guilty. And then you got to prove you're innocent. Now, there's initial probing that takes place. After CPS gets a report, they'll ask into the family and the situation. There'll be collective information, interviews everyone involved to discern the urgency of the situation. So they're going to check to see if that parent was once in foster care as a small child. They have records that keep that long. And so they're going to come to the school and talk to children. They do all these horrible things. Then the further investigation after the initial probing, if the results show that a future investigation needs to be carried out, then CPS will conduct more intense interviews and get more concrete evidence, such as medical documents. So they didn't have a medical document that said you're crazy, right?
They didn't have a medical document that I said I was crazy because the county psychiatrist of LA County, USC, said I wasn't crazy. You see how backwards this is?
Yes.
I mean, I even had my own therapist as a forensic therapist, and she even told him, she's already cleared by the county. What more you want? You should just give her kids back.
Well, anyway, in this stage, the CPS workers will get together all the evidence that they collected and determine whether the claims made against the guardians had any substantial grounds. Based on this, they'll develop a plan. And that case plan is based on the outcome of the substantiation. If there's nothing substantiated, then your children are returned and the case is closed. Now, if it's confirmed the child is not living in an environment conducive to their mental and physical well-being, CPS will make a case plan for the family. That's when you got to be careful signing the case plan because it can be work against you. And this might include classes for parenting to improve themselves, or additional therapy, and our services to support the family. There'll be domestic violence programs, drug rehab programs, alcohol rehab programs, etc. So that's all during the case planning. Then they're going to have the monitoring from CPS. To ensure the agreement from the case plan is being followed, CPS will check in with the family to watch the progress and how they make and how they sure they're following the rules. Now, the case is closed if the monitoring shows that all concerns have been dealt with a meaningful way and that the children are no longer at risk of harm. Now, I still don't understand what risk of harm your children are in with you being their mother.
They kept saying I was crazy. So that was the thing. So what they did was they brought somebody crazy, the FFA monitor.
Yeah.
She was crazy. So she made all these backwards reports because she had cerebral palsy.
Okay. Now, did you have to take a case plan?
Yeah, I did the case plan, and basically I did that. And the judge, she's corrupt. She ended my reunification. I did that. So by the law, she was supposed to give me unmonitored visits and night visits. She never did.
Now, at that time, did you have the money for a real attorney, or were you using a court-appointed attorney?
Okay, so first my attorney was a court-appointed attorney. Then he became a private attorney, so I paid him. But he's still a good attorney. All the other attorneys that I looked into, I paid one attorney. He was a private attorney. He didn't do anything. I just let him keep the money.
I want to welcome Christina Resno. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
What is the crazy thing being said? Christina is asking, what is the crazy thing being said? The crazy thing is this mother, Natalie, had been checked out and proved that she was not have any mental issues and she could take care of the children, but they still ignored her. They still kept her children. That's the crazy thing.
I'm not crazy. I have a high IQ even. They said that I was retarded.
Yeah.
I'm almost like high functioning IQ. It's 137. I have just a little slight organization problem, but that's nothing.
Christina, Natalie was not crazy. The sheriffs were crazy. The CPS workers are crazy. The Child Protection Agency is crazy. All of them are crazy and corrupt.
Thank you, Christina.
All of them are. All you have to do is look at the pink ladies. Here are 8 women, white women, working in Prescott, Arizona with 25 years of experience in CPS. And they decided one day to get pink t-shirts and stencil on the front of the t-shirts, professional child kidnappers. And on the back, they put, do you know where your children? Then they paraded in front of Walmart, Costco, Target, Best Buys, all the big stores. And it really got the parents mad. They called in. Those 8 social workers were fired, as well as the director of the Department of Child Services in Arizona. That was in Prescott, Arizona in the year 2022.
Because somebody actually stood up. I hope in Arizona, because all these people, they should be fired. Okay?
Yeah, well, they fired
they fired
because, first of all, these social workers
and right around in their outfits over there in Walmart or TJ Maxx, wherever they were doing that. That's incredibly wrong.
Now, did you ever go to a hearing where they proved you were guilty? Did you ever go to that hearing?
Yeah, I did. And so basically, the judge, she made me guilty of, like, I guess, leaving them alone. But that's not true. They were not left alone. I had my neighbor in here, and I'm in here. Then they have this idea about exploitation. Where in the world did they got that? They weren't even exploited. They were wearing their clothes and everything.
Yeah.
They even took my kids to the hospital and to see if they were neglected, and they said no. They just had a small bruise on their leg because they would fall.
Okay. All right.
Then they said, they smelled like pets. Yeah, they were playing with the pets.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if you play with a cat or dog, you're going to have dog or cat odors.
So that's what happened. And then my kids were basically they liked being around the dogs, and the dogs were fine with them. I never had a problem with the dogs with them. I had to take care of my mom's dogs. My mom.
Right. Christina Reynoso says, then make a list of who did what.
What?
Did you ever make a timeline or a list of who did what?
Yeah, I did.
Well,
I still have it today.
Yeah. That's something that you should hang on to.
They started because what they even did was so horrible. So they started interviewing the neighbors in the other house, supposedly, but that was a lie. That was a lie.
Right.
Because I know the people over there, they don't even open the door. They don't even care. When they start supposedly interviewing people, that was a lie. They make that up. They don't interview anyone.
Right. Christina says put codes with the wrong. I don't know what she means by codes. Christina, can you explain that a little bit better, Christina?
You mean codes, like color coding?
Well, she says put codes with what the wrong is. I don't know if it's color coding, but then file a grievance.
I called the state.
Yeah.
I called the department, whatever, the human CPS.
Yeah, well, you got to make it in writing. Any grievance, you got to make it in writing. You have to make it in writing.
Yes. I even, what is the word? I complained even in the court about the SFA worker. I mean, I did everything that I could, and I even filed a writ for unification. That was just wrong.
Yeah.
She ended my reunification with no explanation. I filed so many 388 petitions, it's unbelievable. I think I filed about 65 of them.
Wow. I need to talk a little bit about my rules, so hang in here, Natalie.
Okay.
My rule number 1 is you should always have an attorney. And what I mean by have an attorney is you need a professional attorney, because CPS is like open heart surgery. If you're going to do open heart surgery, you're going to get a doctor. You're not going to have a lay person or unqualified person to do it. It's a very dangerous organization. So right now, I have an attorney. His name is Vincent W. Davis. He's offering a consultation. I worked it out where he'll talk to you for 30 minutes for $60. And he'll go over how to navigate and how to fight CPS. Now, he is a fighter. He has schooled for 35 years in the areas of family, juvenile dependency law. So he knows the full gamut. He's fought CPS and won against them and got the children returned. He's also done civil suits, both in federal and state court, and won millions of dollars that he's fought against the corrupt CPS. The child protection system is so bad, and you need a fighter. You need an attorney. So please call in at 888-888-6582. Ask for a consultation with Mr. Davis for 30 minutes. It's $60. It's a special arrangement I made with Mr. Davis. And when you call in, make sure you tell him that Bob Pace told you to call in. And then also when you see Mr. Davis, tell him that Bob Pace told you to call him. So it's important that he hears it from you about calling in. Now, that is rule number one. Now, you may have a court-appointed attorney, but they're a waste of time. They won't fight for your case. They're paid by the social services, and they're in cahoots with the judges and all the other attorneys. Also, social services or CPS, they're excited that you're going to take a court-appointed attorney, because then you can't talk in court, and the court-appointed attorney is doing nothing for your case. Nothing for your case. So, thank you, Christina. Christina, how are you doing? What's new in your world, Christina?
Hi, Christina.
Yeah. Natalie says, hi, Christina. Now, that's rule number one. Rule number two is a notebook, and that's how you want to organize your paperwork. I found out by trying to use a day runner on my phone or scratches of paper or Post-it notes, it wasn't organized. It was too small to read. I prefer a notebook 8.5 by 11, 3-ring binder, so you can hole punch your court documents, put them in, and all your completion certificates and so forth. But you want to stuff it. It's with a college rule notebook and put in maybe 10, 15 dividers. And you want to have different topics. One of them is real important. It's called the incidents. And you want to make a page where you track all the incidents from the earliest first and so forth. And you want to put down the date, the time, the location, and the people involved. Then what you want to do is describe in one sentence, the next sentence, about what the incident was. And then your third line is the outcome of the incident. You want to write that down. Reason why I need all this info is because you will not remember 6 months or a year or 2 years from then. So you need to write that stuff down. You need to be organized with your thoughts. And so that's my rule number 2. Use highlighters. Yellow and pink highlighters are good to use too. And then the rule number...
little highlighters.
I'm sorry, what?
The smelly ones. Those are... You know, when you get those little tiny glittery highlighters now they have. And they
sure. When I said highlighters, I mean all the different kinds out there. Now...
Yeah, I know. These are new ones.
Yeah. So anyway, that's rule number 2. Rule number 3 is don't answer the door. I don't know how many people lately have been killed by answering the door. We had a policeman shoot a guy point blank in Gainesville, Florida, when he was talking to his girlfriend on FaceTime. He was an Air Force man, a black man, young boy, about 23, and he was killed, and he died on the phone talking to his girlfriend. That policeman was let go, and then a week later, they're finally making charges against him. Then there was another incident where a black mother was washing dishes, and this sheriff was in there arguing with them about something, and he took a gun and shot her in the face 5 times, and she's dead as a doornail. And he didn't care, but he got charged with murder that night, and I imagine he's got to have a lot of other problems coming up too. So those are two incidents. A third one was a Korean lady that had some mental issues, and she was killed um, and didn't stand a chance. So I'm telling you, don't
Well,
answer
how
the
did
door.
they kill the Korean lady? Like, did they open the door or what?
I don't know. I have to reread it again, but they came in once, they came in a second time, and they said they saw a knife, but she dropped it. But anyway, I got to look into it more. But anyway, those are three instances that says you don't open the door. Also, you don't want CPS or police coming in. The only way they can come in is one, if you give them permission. Two, if there's domestic violence going off, they're arguing or yelling or maybe throwing a child around or strangling the child or hitting the child excessively, those kinds of things. Are the parents domestic violence by arguing with each other? That's a no-no. The police are going to come in. The case social workers will come in. So you never want to do domestic violence. A good way to get out of that is to say, "Hey, time out. I'm taking a time out. I'm going for a walk. I'll be back and we can talk about this later." You need to calm down. You need to control your emotions. I know it's hard. I know it's hard. Boy, it can be really, really, really hard there.
Yes.
So the third way of entering your place, your home, or wherever it is if they have a warrant. Now, a warrant's a legal document that's signed by a judge. It has an embossed stamp on it, and it gives specific directions. It gives the date and time and the location where the search can happen. It gives the name of the person or persons if it's the whole family, and it gives the names of the children and their ages and so forth. And so, with that being said, the court warrant will allow them, they need to be specific of what they plan to do. Search the premises, take your child where it is. But I tell you that, if you don't answer the door and you happen to be outside, take your time out, tell the social worker policeman, "Hey, I got to talk to my attorney. This is serious business. I'll get back to you. What is your name? What is your badge number?" Make sure you see the social worker's ID card because sometimes they'll say the wrong name. So then you're stuck trying to match them up and everything there. So those are only three ways you get in your home. So don't let them in. Don't let them in. And if you're outside, take a time out. And then, you can get back to them on there. And so it's really hard. Don't say any words to them. Just say yes, no answers. That's all you have to do. Yes, no answers on that one. Now, there's also medical trafficking. There's also medical trafficking to be careful about because the social workers will hang out at hospitals. So don't turn your children, don't talk to them. Be careful. If you're having a baby, don't give your baby after birth to them. They have to have a warrant.
Yes. And don't answer any questions. They ask you all these questions when you're giving birth. It's really weird. The hospital does
I know that. Also, rule number 4 is you do research on the internet about your case. Spend 60 hours learning everything is. Look it up. Look up by the city and then the CPS and then whatever you're looking for. Type that out. Look it up and study. Spend 60 to 70 hours. There's so much valuable time you can spend on the internet. And so that's my rule number 4.
Research everything you can.
Right.
That is so true.
Right. And then my rule number 5 is to make a packet with your medical records of your children, the school records of your children. You'll need that information. So make sure you got the birth certificate and social security card and all that information there. Make it in the folder that you have with you. All right. I'm now fast approaching the end of my show. I want to thank all my listeners that have found us. I think Facebook is back to working. We only have one link that's not working. But I really like you all to see me tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So I want to thank Christina Reynoso for being in the room. Good to see you again. And
Thank you, Christina.
yeah, and thank you, Natalie, for talking to me about your case. I want to refresh her and thank you for being on my podcast.
Pray for all.
Yeah, I love having your voice, Natalie.
Pray for you all.
Yeah. And so with my
God bless you all. I'm going to pray for you all.
Right. I'm going to say
that's what I do every day.
Yeah, I'm going to say God bless you all and keep fighting for your kids. And this is Bob Pace and Natalie signing off.